What is going on? Yes.
It's IC here, everyone. Haven't done a Q&A in a couple months. And we have a very special guest, and this is our second cousin. His name is Kevin.
Kevin Brewer. Here he is, everybody.
How we doing, guys? I mean, this is kind of like the first interview session that you guys are having.
Yes.
So I'm a little nervous tonight. I'm going to click this over so it's showing up on my page, or maybe...
Hello, if you're watching this and you are friends with Kevin on Facebook, thank you for being on here. And we'll have YouTube links to both of our channels in the link in the description below, and you'll be able to watch later both on YouTube and on Facebook if you want to reference something later.
And thank you everybody for liking the picture I posted earlier this morning, and it was pretty. Everyone thought it was very funny, and on Instagram there's like 130 people that saw it and they liked it, and there are about 15 or 20 other people, which makes total about 155 people I've seen on both Instagram and Facebook, and it's been you know what, everyone, we're gonna ask Kevin some questions, and you guys will get to know him a little bit. So here we go.
Yeah, if you guys don't already know him, the first question is,
Kevin. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up here in the home of Superman, if you know me out there, Metropolis, Illinois. And, you know, over the years, when my family come from school teachers, a long line of school teachers, and in, let's say, 11 through 2010, I went on a bachelor party with Patrick Windhorst to Chicago. And I'll never forget it. We were standing on Michigan Avenue, and I buy this coat at North Face, and everyone's laughing at me. It was like a $100 coat. Actually, we're donating it this week. It was kind of funny because my parents are going through the closet. And I said, you know, I'm going to move. And small town America kid, a lot of times we say that sometimes, and we're just kind of talking. And I'll never forget, Patrick was like, oh, okay. And then fast forward 4 weeks later, I kind of made a decision, and then I moved to Chicago, and I've been up in Chicagoland area ever since practically 2010-ish, 11. Came back for a stint, pun intended, almost had to put a stint in because of kidney stones, but then I went back to Chicago. So that's kind of my story of kind of where I'm at today. So.
Oh, yes. Now, next question is, what country would you love to visit the most?
Wow, I would have to say I would love to go to Italy. I would like to go to Italy, Europe. You know, there's a few things on my bucket list. One of them's Jerusalem, and one of them's Italy. So.
Yeah.
So, the most famous person you've ever met?
Wow. Just gotta choose one, huh?
Well, I mean, if there's a few that are about the same tier of celebrity, then more than one would be welcome.
Well, I met one of my closest friends now. She used to work at a restaurant called Capri when I first moved to Chicago. And I used to work at a place called Cooper's Hawk. And one day, someone walked in the back and said, Bo Jackson's here. So I said, okay, and I walked by his table, and no kidding, me being me, I kind of walked by and I kind of looked at him and I said, Bo knows. And he's looking down at the menu, and this is what he did. Everything. And I just kept walking by, right? That's the first time I met Bo Jackson. Come to find out, one of my good friends that I met, she works right across the street there, or used to. Wendy Wynn, shout out to you. And there's a few times that he would be in there, and he would sit at the bar, and if I would come in to have dinner after work or something, and then over a period of time, he got to know me from coming into Cooper's Hawk and there, and of course, I always use the Superman thing. So, and one thing that I learned about Bo Jackson when I met him, he's very quiet. You know, he's very to himself. He's not very, outspoken. We talked a lot about Tecmo Bowl and how I used to. It's a video game you guys sure don't remember,
no.
but
It
your
was,
dad.
it was probably from the early 2000s.
It was a few years ago, but
Oh yeah, quite a
but
few
Bo
years
Jackson,
ago.
I guess, would be one of.
Okay.
Let me just say, in that area, a lot of Blackhawks players and White Sox players. That's where they live. So.
Okay.
Didn't you have a Jay Cutler story? A funny
Oh
Jay
my
Cutler story?
gosh, yes, I do.
Former Bears quarterback.
And I almost called into a talk show the other day about this because they were having Jay Cutler stories. So one night I'm on this date, and we go to this place called Bull and Bear after dinner. And so we're leaving, and it's really late. It's probably 2:30 in the morning, really late. And so I'm heading to the vehicle, we're walking, and here comes this guy walking towards us. And he looked like, from a distance, it really looked like he was walking a baby squirrel. It was tiny. I mean, it was so small. So he keeps getting closer and closer, and I look up, and I said, Jay Cutler. And he just kind of nodded, and then the dog, which I saw was a baby Chihuahua now, the dog's kind of jumping up on the girl that I was dating at the time, like toes. Literally, it couldn't jump any much higher. And he said, leave the dog blanking alone. And, you know, we got to keep it PG here tonight. So
Yeah.
he said, leave
No,
the...
PG-13 if necessary, but
So...
like,
No rated R on my Facebook lives.
Yeah. So I kind of said, you know, hey Jay, that's uncalled for. And then he said, blank you. And so then, me being just me,
Being yourself.
I, you know, started getting a little mad. So he starts walking away. It's not like I'm like asking him for a picture or, hey, can I get an autograph? I just said hello, and, you know, so he's walking away, and I just start going off. I said, you're nothing but an overpaid Rex Grossman. Go back to Santa Claus, Indiana. You never wanted anything in high school, college, or the pros. So then he stops. He turns around. He says, do you want to fight? And I said, yes, I do. And here I am, you know, 5'11" if my posture's good. And he's 6'5", 6'6". And he comes walking towards me, and I was just thinking, well, at least my mom and dad's going to have a lot of money. But it probably dawned on him, hey, let me just leave this. And so he left, and that's the Jay Cutler story. So,
Yeah.
what
There
a
you go.
story! Not
She was a
many
beauty. She was a beauty for
well,
everyone to
and it
hear.
was so funny. We were sitting in Destin one time, and my sister walks in and throws the magazine at me, and there is the Chihuahua in a People's magazine. And then when they had their show before him and Kristen just got a divorce, they had a show on E, and the Chihuahua is still in the the show. So the famous Chihuahua from Jay Cutler. So anyway, so
All right, next question. And what is your biggest regret in your life? Not finding Jay Cutler? Is that
no,
Oh.
that was just mud. I was thinking maybe he'll hit me and I can have a good side of my face and I don't die and we'll have some money. You know, you would have got some money out of it too.
Yep.
No, that's. Well, I was thinking about this. This is one question that you sent me, and I was thinking about two answers. If I could answer it with two.
Yeah,
Sure.
One of the things that I would say, and this is my 2 cents. This doesn't go for everyone. I would say one of my biggest regrets in life, right?
Yeah.
You know, when kids turn the age of, and I've told kids this now, when you turn the age of like 12, 13, and 14, especially when you get in high school,
Yeah.
You become numb to what your parents tell you.
Right.
Because you know how to push their buttons, they know how to push your buttons. And I would say one of my biggest regrets was not listening to my parents more, because for about 10 years you'll listen to them, but an outsider could walk in. Here's a good example. They could say, hey, go clean your room.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't go clean your room. And then an outsider would walk in and say, hey, man, your room's... Sorry. They could say, hey, you know, your room's dirty. And then you would go clean your room immediately.
Right. Yeah.
So I always said that, and, you know, Wu-Tang's for the children. I go out to the children tonight and say, you know, listen to your parents or listen to the people that's raising you, because once I hit like 25, I started saying to myself, you know, Mom was right about that. You know, Dad was right about that. And probably one of the biggest regrets, I should have listened a little more sometimes. Another thing, and this probably goes for your dad, you know, there's a period of time that I lost connection with family. And, you know, and it's nice now that me and your dad talk a lot more, or my cousin Christy, or, you know, probably a regret over a period of time. We didn't have that closeness. And now I, you know, love everyone always, right?
Right.
There you go.
Yes.
So those would probably be my two. There is some other ones, but those would probably be two things I think about, is listen to your parents between those high school years, what they're telling you, or who's ever, you know, raising you, whether it's parents, grandparents, or cousins, or whoever. Listen to
Or
them.
caregivers.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
See? That's why you're here. You're teaching me.
Right.
So hopefully that answers that
Yeah.
question.
Oh yes, that was good. So if you are in your teenage years listening to this, there you go. That was the Ticket of Wisdom by Kevin Brewer.
Oh, ticket of wisdom.
That was the next question.
Okay. So what advice would you give yourself a year ago?
AK when COVID-19 started.
Yes. When the whole virus started this time last year.
Probably buy more stock in any disinfectant spray. But all kidding aside, you know what? I guess it's more of not a regret, but it's a positive now, because now I walk into Wrigley Field, or now I go to a place that I used to just visit, and I would enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as, like, now when I do it, I'm overly well blessed. Like just seeing a friend, or being able to, you know, I remember 7 or 8 months ago I came here and it's just us, but I had a mask on, you know, just being in an environment now that understand that the little things is what matters the most.
True that.
You know, we
Yeah,
could
for sure.
we could go back a year and say, well, you know, I wish this would have happened different or that. I just now I want to stop and smell the
Roses.
tulips and the roses. You know, you say the roses, absolutely. So now I'm like, you know, stop and smell the tulips too. You know, so
As long as you tiptoe through the tulips.
absolutely, because you don't want to mess up the tulips.
Right.
All right. So what is your favorite musical artist right now at 9:15 on May 12th, 2021?
Well, I'm just picking one. Wow. I would say the person I probably listen to the most right now. Man. I mean, I'm just gonna go. It's Frank Sinatra. I mean, I listen to a lot of Andrea Bocelli right now. Justin Bieber has grown on me over the last few months like no artist has ever had in the history of my life.
Yeah.
Funny story tonight, I'm sitting at my nephew's baseball game, so they play music in between each batter, right?
Yeah.
They played the Wu-Tang. I am literally rapping the Wu-Tang. The song stops and I keep going, and people are looking behind like, who is this guy? You know. So anyway, but I would probably have to go if there's only one. Would be Frank Sinatra.
Oh yes, that's what.
Chairman of the board.
Yep. Okay, so who inspires you the most?
Who inspires me the most? Wow. Coming from you. Wow. And I hate to say this. I hate when people get interviewed and they're like, oh, that's a good question. I mean, that's such a good question.
Sometimes it's hard for the person to answer it.
It's a good question, though. I would... inspires me the most. I mean, of course, the easy answer to that would be, I guess, my family. I come from a long line of teachers from Dr. Cuz's mom to my mom to, it's a long line of teachers. But one thing over the years that inspired me more was the books I read. They tell you to go to school, make good grades, go out and get a good job, right?
Right.
True that.
I really wish in school there was a mentor, and maybe there is now. I mean, I haven't, but I wish there was more, philosophy in school of balancing checkbooks, why not to get in debt, how to spend your money right, why, there's just not enough of that in school to teach kids. So, I got involved with a company that I still have part-time on the side. And, some people hate network marketing, some people love it. But it taught me a lot of business principles and like, there was a person called Jim Rome that I used to call it Dry Time University. No, it's not ESPN, Kyle. But I would hear stories of just things that would transform my mind that I never learned in school, and I wish they would teach these things in school to kids that I got out of school and I didn't know. So I would say the people, because of Legal Shield, the people that I met in that taught me some business principles now that has made me a better person because of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking on books, the next question was going to be 5 books you'd recommend to people from the age of 18 to 25. So pretty much young adults trying to figure out what to do with their life.
Of course with me, the number one book I would recommend, because of my faith, is the Bible. If you have people out there with different faiths or walks of life, whether it's the Quran or whatever their book is, I would, mine would be the Bible. But, I don't really put that in my 5 favorites because that's the best. But I would look at it as Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The author of this book interviewed the 500 most successful people in the world. And it's just not about money. It sounds like it's about money, but it's just the 500 most successful people in the world. And they had 13 things in common. And that's one thing that I always tell families and people: don't you want your kids to know what the 500 most successful people in the world have in common? So I would say Think and Grow Rich. I would probably go 5 books. How to Win Friends and Influence People is another one. I would probably go with, from there, Outwitting the Devil. The author of this book interviewed supposedly the devil. Mm-hmm. It's a very intriguing book. I'd go to an old school one. Who Moved My Cheese is another one. It's a very thin book. It's not even that many pages. And then I would go to, I can't say that. That's 4. I would probably go to, wow. Let me think about that, and I'll get back to you on that one.
All right.
The 5th book, because I've got a couple in my head, but let me think about that one. I'll get back to you on the
All right. 4 is good though. You have to add those to my reading list.
There you go.
Yep.
And you can get it on audio version too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and that'll put you asleep automatically.
Oh.
It will, unless the audio versions I enjoy getting is the one that's done by the like if I read a biography that's done by literally the person they're doing their biography on.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would probably have to say, I was going to go there, and it's okay if I go there with this. I would have to probably say the biography of Abraham Lincoln. I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite biographies just from that time. So that's it with that.
Right.
So.
All right, what's the next one?
All right, how often do you talk to your family?
Well, every day at noon, I take a walk. It's about 2 to 3 mile walk, and I call my mom typically. So my mom and dad will be on the phone, and that's usually for about 30 minutes, Monday through Friday. And then I reach out to you guys, or a lot of times when I'm on road trips like this, I get in my vehicle, and I've always called it Drive Time University. Pick up the phone and call someone you haven't talked to in a while. And I did it on the way down here. I left a lot of voicemails this time though, but people don't like to talk on the phone anymore. So
That's true.
you can text someone and they'll answer right back. But if you try to call them,
You can FaceTime them.
absolutely,
Yeah.
tell them.
Yes, like we have those if it was like 30 years ago, like people would not know what FaceTime is, but like since we have like iPhone 12s and other good cell phone services or and iPads and other electronic stuff, like FaceTime is a very good way to communicate to your friends and your family
Absolutely.
and other people.
You're right.
Mhm.
So usually that's what I do. I'll pick up the phone, and there's people that I should pick up the phone more to, but it's hard to get people on the phone.
Oh, you know a lot of
It is.
people.
It is hard to get people on the phone.
Yeah, and they have some people have busy lives here.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've had to learn is, people have busy lives, we're all busy.
Mhm.
So, but I enjoy picking up the phone and doing that though, a lot.
Okay.
You have next to you, I see.
Okay. How's it like living in Chicago?
It's the greatest decision that I've ever made. If the question was what's the greatest decision I ever made was to move to Chicago.
It's beauty.
It's my kind of town.
And there's a song called My Kind of Town, which is obviously by the great Frank Sinatra.
There we go.
Yep, I'm thinking about doing a duet with you on that song, and it'll be out.
Let me know.
Well, you know what? We'll record it sometime really soon. It's gonna be out in the public in the next couple months, hopefully.
On our first LP, right?
Well, we already had an LP in February, so we're gonna have to do more LPs together.
Okay. But I would say that would be my. Don't get me wrong. I miss my family times.
Right.
I miss my friends here. Usually when I come here, my schedule is so tight that sometimes I gotta tell people, I'll see you next time. But it has taught me, I have grown so much probably in the last 11 years just by the people I've been around, the friends that I've created, and the restaurants I've been in. I'm a huge food person in restaurants, and it's probably, I love it, I enjoy the concrete jungle, I just like when I went to New York, the times I've been to New York, I could see myself living in New York, I could see myself living in DC. I just like that type of environment. So it's like on the way here, I got stuck in major traffic on the bridge, it was back to back, bumper to bumper. I'm not kidding, am I?
Yeah.
I hope Carl doesn't hear this because he's going to blame Illinois. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so what are the differences to Chicago to Metropolis for people that have never been to Chicago before? You guys will.
Or if people from Chicago are watching, they've never been to Metropolis.
The difference? Superman. Small town America, large. It's and I used to hear people are different from Metropolis to Chicago. Then I heard people are different from New York to small town America. I don't get that feeling. I've met as many rude people here as I met them in Chicago. So I think it's more forwardness, but
Right.
the difference is probably large scale to big scale. I know I use Superman a lot.
Yeah.
There's friends that's in Chicago. It probably gets on their nerves. There's literally restaurants I go in and they say Superman's in the building. But I love my town. I love where I come from. Every time I come in, Superman's a part of my walk, on my noon walk that I do. But I tell people, come to Chicago. I tell people in Chicago, I got to get them down here. The major difference would probably be population and tall buildings. So
instead of about 6,000 people in Metropolis, there's about 6 or 7 million in Chicago.
yeah, there you go.
That's all. That's all needs to be said. But I like how, since you moved to Chicago, you haven't bashed Metropolis at all. You haven't said anything negative about Metropolis. Some people, whenever they moved to another town, they talk bad about where they came from and all.
Oh, you're spot on. I hear people that go from small town America to large town America, or whatever you want to call it, and then all they want to talk about is how bad they came from, and they hate their small town, and I never want to go back. I put on for my city, on for my city. Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's fine. You can sing all you want. Yeah. Yeah.
I love Metropolis. You know, I
Right.
tell people all the time, the greatest city in the world, Chicago, but man, Metropolis is a close second. So
Yep. And plus, there's a Superman celebration every year, except for last year for obvious reasons. And everyone, the Superman celebration will be on July 30th or August 1st. So come on, if you're in Metropolis, or if you're not, if you're in Metropolis in those during those days, come on out and see Superman, or come to come get your favorite food or favorite snack, or just walk around Metropolis to the Superman Museum. There's a store called Six and Vintage, an ice cream place called Sissy's, and people who don't live in Metropolis, come on out and enjoy the fun, and you won't miss. You'll be in for a treat.
will you be in town that weekend?
Yes, I will.
So why don't we tell everybody, if they come to Metropolis that weekend, they can come meet you two at like it's not Fast Eddie.
Fat Ed's?
Fat Ed's, or
Works.
you know, they can meet you at the Superman Square, and you got to get these guys autographs, right?
Oh yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We have a DJ service
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've gonna be in July will be marked 2 years of the Hyde Brothers DJ service. So yes, it's time for us to start getting autographs and start having our own fan club. Like, we already have a Facebook page, but we could have like a fan club and invite members, and other folks, and some folks can invite their friends to become part of our fan club. Or
Yeah, while we're on this topic, since there's probably some other viewers tonight, what's the YouTube page? Promote you guys. I mean,
Yes.
go ahead and let the people
Uh-huh.
know. I mean,
Yep, you go first.
Well-
since it's your Facebook.
Well, everybody, welcome to Facebook Live. You know what? Hope you guys are enjoying the questions we've asking Kevin. But anyway, my YouTube channel is called AC Wiggle, and I have 415 subscribers at the moment. Good wiggly fingers, everybody. Wiggly fingers. Okay. 415 subscribers, and I'll be, and I've been doing. I did a vlog about Disney World last month, and it gave me 33 views. Not bad, but gonna be doing more feature vlogs here in the coming weeks, and of course be doing more of these Facebook and Instagram lives, and hopefully one day I'll get to like 1,000 subscribers, so I can start doing like YouTube live, and I just want to get like 1,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel and 1,000 Facebook friends, which at the moment I have about 810 Facebook friends, and doesn't matter how well I know them, if it's like a close friend from school, or if you only see them once or twice out on the street, or just a certain person who's in the Honey Brothers episode, or something like that, really. But
well, look him up on Facebook if you're just Facebook friends with me.